back. Welcome back to Mountain Morning Show. It is Thursday, so that means that Ryan is here from In Magazine. Ryan, good to see you, buddy.
No, thank you.
We are, I was just checking out the What's Cooking in Salt Lake City.
That's right, yeah.
I like that, a little dining advice.
Yeah, you know, we like to go out to eat. It's one of the nice things about the job that we get to occasionally go out and check out some restaurants. So we kind of put together an interview with a couple of our favorite chefs. We've got the chefs from Tin Angel, Wild Grape, and Robin's Nest. And then we also, for our Scene in SLC profile, we have the one of the people from Marmalade Cafe. So yeah, we covered some of our favorite spots that we've kind of visited over the past 6 to 8 months. I've eaten at all except for Robin's Nest and thoroughly enjoyed it. And to be honest with you, I'm not a huge food guy. Right. But when something's good, I know.
And that's good because several of those you mentioned I'm not familiar with, so it's good to know that you can, read about them.
Yeah, definitely. And the sort of restaurants that actually have a chef that prepares everything. It's not just your kind of average restaurant where whoever cooks the food is whatever. But so yeah, we interviewed some of these chefs, and some of them are owners, some of them are just chefs of the places.
Well, and that's one of the best parts about In Magazine is you guys kind of go out and do the research and let us know about some of the things that may be, kind of diamonds in the rough, well-kept secrets type of things, and, point us in the right direction.
Yeah, and we do try to hit everything as it opens, or, the little out-of-the-way places and that sort of thing, just to kind of get an idea of what's out there. And to be quite honest, Salt Lake has quite a few quite fantastic restaurants, and I think a lot of people kind of just go to the same old regulars all the time. But one thing that I've, since I've started working for In is started to see all these little out-of-the-way places that I wouldn't have known about and that sort of thing. And I've been introduced to a whole variety of food that I never would have eaten.
Well, we do have some great restaurants in the Valley, of course, up here in Park City as well. But a lot of times down in the Valley, they're kind of tucked away and they're easy to miss. So it is good to know that you guys do that. Now, do you guys do anything, or maybe it's something you may want to think about doing, with the economy being what it is, as far as going out and finding deals? Who's got the best deals out there, type of thing?
We really haven't looked at that, but it's the majority of the places we do eat are fairly reasonably priced. Even the ones featured in here, they're not outlandish. You could spend quite a bit of money there if you start getting into the wines and that sort of thing. Right. But generally speaking, the food is pretty reasonable.
Okay, well that's good.
But that is something we probably should consider is how to eat well for less.
You know what? Especially when you're talking about families, which there are so many families. Yes. When we think about going out, it's not just my wife and I going out. It's my kids, and my boys are getting older. I mean, they're young, but they start eating more, and so you have to factor that in. So, but anyway, real quick, I want to get to Watchmen.
Watchmen,
that is the big buzz.
It is the big buzz. There's not really a lot going on as far as big films for the next couple of weeks. You do have a few next week, but this is definitely the one that everyone's kind of been gearing up. Fans of the graphic novel have been waiting for this ever since it came out, basically. I mean, it's been in development for 20 years, basically as long as the graphic novel's been out. They've been trying to make this into a film, and they finally have got it done. It was one of those films going into that I would rather not have to review. I definitely wanted to see it, but when it comes to reviewing it, you're kind of like, well, what happens if it's bad? Right. I'm going to get smashed by all the kids who love it, who even before they see it, or how could it be horrible? Or you're going to get the people who say, well, it's not as faithful as it should be, or that sort of thing. So you're kind of...
But we count on a fair assessment from you, Ryan, because I said you always give us one.
I try, anyway. And, like I was telling you, I purposely did not reread the graphic novel recently, just so that I wouldn't go in... expecting it to be exactly like the graphic novel, because to be frank, to do the novel in its entirety would probably take a 10-hour sort of film, and here we were kind of dealing with what they kind of dealt with Lord of the Rings, where all right, we need to get the essence, we need to compact it as much as we can, but try to stay true to it as we can. And in general, I think they did a fairly good job. The art design is pretty much spot on. They did change a couple things up, but it works just fine. A couple of the costumes, they made a little more better for the sort of film thing. There's certain costumes that work in a comic that when you try to make it into a live action suit, it just doesn't work.
As well.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, our director, was saying, because he's familiar with the novel as well, that this is one that maybe somebody that's read the novel would probably give an assessment like you have, but those people that aren't familiar with it would really like it.
It's a very, very dark film. It is R-rated, and it definitely deserves its R rating. If you thought Dark Knight was too dark, you're going to find this one to be even more bleak.
Really?
Because what it is you have a group of superheroes who are kind of everyday people sort of things, where they've got everyday issues. Some of them are, I don't know, better people than others. Some of them are horrible people who just happen to fit into this mold. In my review in the paper, I talk about how they're normal people with superpowers who are occasionally heroic.
Right.
Some of them are your kind of Batman character with the best of intentions, and some of them just are opportunists. They're just vigilantes who happen to be able to serve a need. And so it is really dark. I think really though the people who are really familiar with the graphic novel will be fine with it.
Yeah.
They changed the ending a little bit. It's not quite as dramatic, which I was kind of sad about. But I think in general they really got it right, which is surprising. Everyone was just paranoid about how they were going to butcher this.
Right.
And I do have to say some of the acting isn't quite up to par. I was really surprised that was the weak point for me, was that some of the actors just didn't quite nail it.
Well, it sounds like it's one to see. As you mentioned, there's not a lot to see out there right now. So get out there. That's going to come out tonight?
Tonight. They're doing a lot of midnight screenings. So there is an IMAX version, which unfortunately I didn't get to see. I probably will end up going and seeing it on IMAX just because the IMAX experience is it's like nothing else. But
okay. Yeah, excellent. All right. Well, listen, Ryan, it's always good to see you. We'll look forward to having you back next week.
Thank you.
Love your reviews, and so we'll look forward to that.
Thanks.
All right. Well, stick around to the Mountain Morning Show. More to come after this break.